Good afternoon. Thank you for attending today's Order of the Engineer ceremony. It's my pleasure to introduce the Dean of the College of Engineering and a fellow Order of Engineer inductee today, Dean Kim Meady, to provide welcoming comments. Please join me in welcoming Dean Meady.
Can you hear me okay? All right. It's so exciting to be here. You all look so handsome and beautiful, and we couldn't ask for nicer weather. So I'm really excited to be here. Thank you, Dr. Kaufman. And today, it's my honor to provide welcoming remarks and to be inducted into the Order of the Engineer, as I did not have that opportunity when I graduated with my engineering degree. Congratulations to all of you. You are an engineer. And I hope you will reflect for a moment on this very important achievement. You have worked many, may I emphasize that again, many long hours to reach this point in your life, and I know it wasn't always easy. Growing up, like many young girls from my generation, I actually aspired to be a teacher. This seemed like a rewarding profession, and I was surrounded by many female role models who influenced me. It wasn't until I entered high school that I considered engineering as a possible profession. In addition to having excellent math and science teachers who encouraged me to pursue my studies in a STEM field, U.S. Steel Corporation sponsored an engineering career exploring post as part of a program with the Boy Scouts of America at my high school. This career exploring post allowed students to hear from practicing engineers, gave us an opportunity to job shadow engineers, and through this program, I actually took my very first flight on a military cargo plane equipped with hammock-like seats for paratroopers at the Pennsylvania Air National Guard. Now, of course, we didn't get to skydive, but it was still very, very thrilling for me, just the same. This program, along with the encouragement from my parents and teachers, inspired me to study engineering. Initially, I thought I would be a chemical engineer, but I was fortunate enough to attend a university like the University of Arkansas that offered a common first-year engineering program. And that's where I discovered industrial engineering and realized that for me, that was the perfect fit. I've had many job titles throughout my career, including programmer analyst, systems analyst, project manager, professor, and dean. You might notice that I've never actually held a job with the title engineer in it. Despite this, I've always proudly considered myself an engineer. Prior to becoming the Dean of the College of Engineering on November 1st, I spent 6 years as the Dean of the Graduate School in International Education. I remember when I first took this position, someone asked me if I was going to enjoy it now that I wasn't doing engineering. I thought about that for a minute, and then I responded, "Are you kidding me? I'm practicing engineering each and every day. I problem solve. I determine how best to allocate scarce resources. I streamline systems to remove non-value-added elements. I perform cost-benefit analyses. I oversee technical projects, and I develop people. I'm actually using much of my formal engineering education complemented with valuable work experience." I was practicing engineering. It was funny too, because I was the only engineer in my unit and everyone thought I was a genius. I wasn't a genius, really. I was just an engineer doing a good job. So why am I sharing this story with you this afternoon? Because I know each and every one of you have your own stories about why you decided to study engineering, how you got here, what you plan to do with your new degree, and I'm certain your stories are just as interesting. So please do this. Think about why you selected engineering as a field of study. Think about who influenced you to study engineering. Think about what you hope to do with your engineering degree. You may not know precisely, but I predict it will be something important and impactful. Think about how you will commit to professional development and lifelong learning, and ask yourself, how will you keep abreast of the many changing technologies that will occur perhaps as you work for the next 40 plus years in your career? Think about how you can influence others to enter this wonderful profession, because we need more engineers. Make sure your circle of influence includes women and other underrepresented minorities, because these groups are grossly underrepresented in our ranks. As I reflect upon my own career, I'm grateful, because in my role today, I've realized my childhood dream to become a teacher, and I'm an engineer. And fortunately for me, I will always consider myself an engineer. Congratulations to all of you. Go out and do great things, and be proud of your degree from the University of Arkansas College of Engineering, because we are certainly very proud of all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dean Edie. Order. The purpose of the Order of the Engineer is to call attention to the obligation of all engineers to use their technical education ethically in shaping the world around them. Ethical practice of engineering occasionally requires great courage, and always require that we maintain the highest standards of professional integrity. The dictionary definition of a profession is an occupation or vocation requiring training in the liberal arts or sciences and advanced study in a special field. By this definition, engineering is clearly a profession. Professionalism is more than this. Indeed, professionalism in its purest form calls for dedication which transcends monetary or other private consideration. It requires integrity, a dedication to ethical standards of your profession. In the case of engineers, this concept translates into an obligation to use our technical education ethically in shaping the world around us. And in these times, engineers are largely responsible for the products, processes, and structures that shape our society. Dr. Kevin Hall will talk about the history of the Order of the Engineer.
The Order of the Engineer was begun in 1926 when our engineering counterparts in Canada recognized the special obligation of engineers to one another, to the profession, and to the public they serve. They decided to recognize those willing to subscribe to the Code of Ethics for Engineers by inviting them to join the Order of the Engineer. Based on the model of our Canadian counterparts, the Order of the Engineer was established in the United States in 1970. As you are accepted into the Order, you will receive a steel ring to be worn on the little finger of your working hand. The history of the ring ceremony has to do with the construction of a bridge across the St. Lawrence River in Quebec in the early 1900s. It required several years to complete construction of the bridge, and on the morning of August 29, 1907, it collapsed, becoming an ugly tangle of structural steel enclosing the bodies of 75 workmen. After an investigation, construction was started again, and on September the 11th, 1916, as the center span was being lifted, it fell, killing 13 men. The bridge was built a third time, this time without incident, and it was finished in 1917 and is still in use today. After accepting the obligation, you'll be presented with your steel ring. You're to wear the engineer's ring on the small finger of your working hand, so it will remind you every time you sign a set of plans, contract documents, or design specifications of your obligation as an engineer. You must check and recheck your calculations before signing your name. The success of the engineering project and the very lives of people may depend on your engineering work. Dr. Kaufman is going to come and share the significance of the ring.
Thanks, Dr. Hall. The ring you receive is a symbol of the strength and continuity of our profession. The engineer's ring shall say to all who see it, "Here is an engineer, a person with special technical knowledge and a publicly avowed dedication to his or her profession and the public it serves." In Canada, the engineer's ring is a faceted ring worn by those engineers accepted into the ritual of the calling of the engineer in a private ceremony. Legend has it that the Canadian bridge failed because of a misplaced decimal point. Originally, the Canadian rings came from one of the twisted iron pipes from the bridge's first failure that was sliced into rings and worn by the engineers to remind them of their solemn responsibility. The engineer's ring in the United States is a stainless steel ring, worn on the fifth finger of the working hand by engineers who accepted the obligation of the engineer in a ring ceremony. The significance of the ring is to remind each of us that even minor errors are important, and ethically we must do our best to protect life, health, and safety of the public. Dr. Hall will call your name. As your name is called, please stand and be recognized to take the obligation of the engineer.
Alexis Applequist, Christian Bandora Mukama, Beatrice Becerra, Margaret Bell, Isaac Bertels, Lindsay Bove, Seth Box, Kanaya Bragg, Gavin Briggs, Tony Butler, Andrea Camargo Montenegro, Alicia Carey, Caleb Chestnut, Christina Childress, Brock Childress, Naneo Chikala, Riley Cochran, Layla Cornell, Adam Coral, Piper Costner, Mariah Cruz, Lauren Crimmins, Natalie Curry, Harrison Dean, Haley DeRiggle, Lane Edwards, Michelle Escobar, Grant Ferguson, Anna Fisher, Tanner Flippo, Adam Fowler, Madeline Giebler, Yesenia Gonzalez, Lisbeth Godardo, John Haney, Yini Hao Chen, Felipe Hernandez Gerardo, Ira Herrera, William Hoisington, William Hopkins, David Hubbard, Lok Hyun, Tara Anima, Dewan Jackson, Daniel Hagassar, Courtney Johnston, Madeline Kaminsky, Grayson Kopp, Adam Krawczyk, Lauren Law, Reed Leisure, Esteban Lopez, Madison Lopez, Julia Loshelder, Megan Lowry Ripa, Bradley Lunsford, Yves Monzi, Maria Marsicall, Elliot Mason, Katarina McConnell, Anna McCoy, Tricia McElroy, Andrew McClellan, Mitchell Hale Merrick, Leonides Moreno, Caitlin Morgan, Catherine Munoz, Dean Hyung Needy, Sarah Neo, Olivia Overton, Tanner Pascal, Ryan Pierce, Addison Perez, Catherine Pettis, Kayla Plummer, Marcos Rodriguez, Megan Ross, Melina Sanders, Philemon Sapari, Micah Schuerman, Fred Shimbusho, Cody Simmons, Samantha Spencer, Tyler Stamps, Christine Stellwagen, Parker Tankersley, Fatumata Traore, Antonio Vasquez, Evan Vasquez, Whit Vincent, Bryce Walker, Dwight Walters, Brandon Ward, Kaliana Warden, William Warner, LJ Williams III, Elise Wyatt, Jaime Zambrano. Please remain standing for the ceremony, for the obligation ceremony. Each of you who possess an engineering education and are willing to subscribe to the Engineering Code of Ethics are now invited to join the Order of the Engineer and accept the Engineer's Ring. In the same vein, each of you educated in computer science or atmospheric science is invited to join us in accepting the obligation of your profession. You must accept the obligation seriously and with pride in yourself and your profession. Please consider the words carefully and remember always that our special knowledge carries with it the obligation to serve humanity with complete sincerity, honesty, and integrity. We can never anticipate all the challenges we shall face as we work our designs, but we are honor-bound to foresee all that we can and keep the public welfare uppermost in our minds.
In your packet, in the back of your packet, you should find a small card. On that card is the obligation. So I'm going to ask that each of you recite this obligation with me. So the small card on the back of it, it should say, Order of the Engineer Obligation. All right, here we go. I am an engineer. In my profession, I take deep pride. To it, I owe solemn obligations. As an engineer, I pledge to practice integrity and fair dealing, tolerance and respect, and to uphold devotion to the standards of the dignity of my profession. Conscious always that my skill carries with it the obligation to serve humanity by making the best of Earth's precious wealth. As an engineer, I shall participate in none but honest enterprises. When needed, my skill and knowledge shall be given without reservation for the public good. In the performance of duty and in fidelity to my profession, I shall give my utmost. Please join me in the front to have your ring placed on the working hand, the pinky finger of your working hand. Dean Needy will lead the procession, followed by each row coming in order.
As you approach the master ring here, have your ring in your hand ready to go, please.
Maybe that's what I don't know. Congratulations. Yeah, I just, yeah, I don't know if it's there though. I'll check. I left it.
Sorry.
Congratulations.
Look at that, 2 rings in 1 year. Congratulations. after the ceremony is completely done, there'll be a limited amount of time you can come up and take a picture with the big ring if you want to.
Hey, all right, all right. Congratulations, Dr. Engineering. Air five. Congratulations. Hey, congratulations. Julia. Hey girl, congratulations. 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 Hey, congratulations. Congratulations. How does it? Congratulations. Well done, well done. Congratulations.
congratulations to all. We are incredibly proud of everybody here that you've taken this obligation. You know, a structural engineer from Colorado, an award-winning author, states, charged with protecting the public's health, welfare, and safety, professional engineers play an extremely crucial part. The enormity of our responsibility requires that we be accurate and technically competent. But technical expertise alone is not everything. Being well-rounded citizens of the world requires engineers to develop a deep appreciation for history, travel, and the arts. It also requires that engineers maintain high ethics and never lose the desire to learn. I welcome you to our profession and wish you well in the exciting technical challenges before you in the coming years. Excuse me. Let this ceremony always remind you that professional ethics, with its associated commitment to public safety and welfare, comes before all else. Congratulations, engineers. And so that concludes the ceremony. We'll be up here just for a couple of minutes if you want to come take a picture with the big ring or whatever you want to do. Thank you, and we'll see many of you at commencement tomorrow.